Hey everybody, how you doing? Mayor Paul here on Sunday at 3:30. Sitting here at the Great Plains Zoo and Delbridge Museum, waiting to pick up my daughter. My daughter is part of a program called the Junior Zookeepers Program. And in the Junior Zookeepers Program, she started already when she was 13, which is really cool. These kids get to work at the zoo and are, quote unquote junior zookeepers, and they get to help with exhibits. They get to do some dirty work, muck stalls, pick up poop, pitch hay, some of the work that goes into maintaining our fantastic zoo. So I'm killing some time before I have to pick her up. I'm here early, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take some questions from people. Because it has been such a nuts week in the city. There's been so much going on that I wanted to just be able to touch base. This is one of the things I like to do to try and remain accessible. And what I mean by that is people sometimes will talk about transparency and being able to access your elected leaders. And I like to do this to say, dude, I'm accessible. Tweet at me, Facebook me, whatever. Try to get back to people. So there's some questions coming in. Let's just have a conversation. I'd love to make this fun. If we could not talk about negativity, that would be great, especially on Sunday, the day of rest. Grayson asks, what are my favorite sports teams? Grayson, good question. I grew up in Minnesota. I love Minnesota sports teams, but probably my favorite team is the Vikings, man. Minnesota Vikings all day long. Probably the Super Bowl champions this year. I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb. Justin Jefferson, new wide receiver, is going to be incredible for us. So big Vikings guy, big Minnesota Gophers fan. Lindsay Joe asks, what is your take on kids and staff wearing masks in school? You know what? I just came from an event, wearing my mask, and I'm not opposed to mask wearing at all. And I think a majority of the people aren't opposed to mask wearing. I think what you hear, in my opinion, if this is the 100% spectrum, 10% of people are vocally against mask wearing. 10% of people think the whole world will die if we don't wear masks. And 80% of people in the middle are reasonable, rational people who, if we have to wear masks to go back to school or to go to church or whatever, people will do it. So I know we often only hear from those fringe kind of vocal groups, but there's a lot of just rational, smart people in the middle that I think will do what's ever right. Jolie, how's my little one? Dude, his name is Isaiah. I've had him 2 nights now, and the little guy has slept almost entirely through the night. He is 5 days old that we're taking care of through the Bethany Safe Families program. And it's a little bit of an eye-opener going back to the little one. I haven't changed a diaper yet, but my wife has done most of that work. So Emily asked a question I get asked, starting to get asked more, and it's about re-election. We'll have a mayoral race in May of 22, and it's only July of 2020. So a lot of time between now and then. And I tell you, if the next 2 years or anything like the last 2 years, I don't know how much I got in this tank. So I'm really just focused on serving right now in the term that I've been elected to serve in. So just trying to do my best in that right now. Other questions, Ben, feels like roads are still not great and traffic is still low. What is the plan to get real about improving our roads? Well, Ben, we have the largest percentage of our city budget, both last year and this year, dedicated to roads and highways than we've ever had in the history of the city. So there's a huge commitment to roads and infrastructure right now. The challenge, as we've seen in our city budget right now, is everyone wants to have their thing funded. Okay? No one wants to cut everything, and everybody wants everything perfect. They want perfect roads. They want community bands. They want new parks. They want splash parks, spray pools. They want us to fund the zoo and the new exhibits here. It's very challenging. And so my mayoral administration is very committed to infrastructure and to public safety. Okay? Doesn't mean I ignore the other things, but if you want to know what my priorities are, it's those 2 things. Those aren't the exciting kind of sexy things, but they're really the core parts of government and infrastructure. You also have to remember that we have about 6 to 8 months a year where we can really do road work. We're not Phoenix, Arizona, where you can be working on your roads year round. We got a condensed season. So you're seeing a lot of traffic right now backed up, a lot of orange cones. That's because we got to get all this work done in a shorter period of time. And that's why you're seeing so much of it right now, because we're spending a lot on that, and a lot of it has to get done. Joseph asks, what keeps you motivated against the haters? I tell you what, man, the phrase I always think about is, let your haters be your motivators, right? And if you're not ticking some people off along the way, you're probably not doing the right things, and you're probably not being bold enough. And so kind of good advice for all of us, whether it's in your work or if you're getting bullied at school or whatever it is. Let your haters be your motivators, okay? Use that to drive you and fuel you. Don't respond it. Don't listen to them. Shut them out. And just move on and press on with what you know is right and what's right in your heart. I'm sure, because I can't see all the questions, I'm sure there's a question about the municipal band that we're not funding in the city budget. I just want to touch on that topic real quick. Now, this is the quick civics lessons on our budget. We have a $600 million city budget this year. About a quarter of that, maybe-ish, $150 million, is really what can go towards bands and staff and personnel and things like that. The other 450 can't be utilized for things like funding a band. So when people say, well, it's a small percentage of your whole city budget, remember, a lion's share of that budget is capital projects, it's entertainment tax, it's also our enterprise fund, which funds water, wastewater. We can't use that money for these other things. So when you look at the $150 million that we have for the year for the city, we have to make hard decisions to fund all the things in our city. I am probably one of the biggest supporters of the arts that the mayor's office has ever seen. Art is my background. Art was my major in college. I was a graphic designer, huge supporter of the arts. However, I also have to look at what is the role of city government, and if I pay band members and band directors, should I also pay the Sioux Empire Community Theater and their actors and their director, and our Children's Theater and the Sioux Empire Arts Council and their visual artists of the Sioux Empire Arts Council? So you start to have this equity discussion and like who should we pay and who do we not pay? All those other entities I mentioned, they have to come up with their own model to sustain what they're doing. And that's my hope with the band, is that the band can continue to figure out creative ways that they can help fund their entertainment that they're providing, just like the Sioux Empire Community Theater does, and the Scottish Rite Fife and Drum Corps does, and the Sioux Empire Arts Council does, and others. So it's become kind of a hot topic. I'm not anti-band. I love the band. I'm a trumpet player my whole life. So we'll get things figured out. But these are some of the hard decisions you have to make. And when you talk about having people haters or upset with you, yeah, people are upset right now. And I guess that just comes with being in the chair and having to make some of those decisions. Elizabeth asks the best question. What's been your favorite vehicle over the years? I love Jeeps, man. Jeep Wranglers. I've had a Wrangler, and I love Wranglers. They're so much fun, but they're not very practical. They give terrible mileage. They're terrible to take on the road. But I miss having a Wrangler. Kevin, well, no, I'm not going to talk about that one. Rhonda, why are you not wearing a mask in public? Rhonda, I am wearing a mask in public. I was just at an event where I wore a mask the entire time. But there's also other times when other people are more comfortable with you not having a mask on. I was at an event yesterday. They wanted to take a picture, and they wanted me to take the mask off for the picture. So I did. So please don't politicize this mask wearing stuff. I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of, if I'm seen, going into a bathroom and people are like, why don't you have your mask on? There's other people in the bathroom. It's like, come on. All right. Let's stop the hating. Let's stop the politicizing of the mask wearing. I don't know where this became political, but it's getting tiring, and people are tired of it. We'll do what people want to do. We'll put the onus on our constituents and our residents to say, you do what's right for you, all right? And you wear a mask in public if you feel that's what's right for you and your family. And I get that it's not about you, it's about other people. And I see a lot of mask wearing going on, but you have to remember our cases, our hospitalization rates, those things are staying fairly steady, folks. And so if I was to require mask wearing now, what am I going to do if we have a spike, which could happen? I don't have any more powder to burn because we have everything. So you have to save some of these measures for if and when things get really bad. And people will say, well, we have a chance to curve the virus now and to squash it. It has been squashed right now. It's very low. And I'm not spiking the football, but I'm saying we got to keep some of those things for if and when we really start to see the increases that major metropolitan areas have had that, quite honestly, are much more dense in their population and have a much higher likelihood of seeing the spikes and the increases than we do in South Dakota. 2 weeks ago this weekend, we had the PBR in Sioux Falls, professional bull riders, and we haven't seen any real changes in our numbers. We had a higher case count yesterday, but we also had twice as many results reported to us, probably just because of some backlogs of some things. So really, we're doing quite well in Sioux Falls on that. So, all right. Yes, I'm alone in my car. I'm not driving. Okay, please. People want to criticize me on that. I'm not driving. I'm sitting here. I'm hot because the air isn't on. Val, do you think COVID-19 will ever go away? Here's what I need to say about that, Val. You have to almost plan that there will never be a vaccination, right? That there will never be a treatment. Just like HIV, you know, we still haven't had we still don't have a vaccination for that. And there was a time when HIV was new to our market. It was like, oh, they're working on a vaccine. We'll get it. Yeah, maybe. I hope so. But we have to plan. What if we never get it? And we have to start planning for that, and planning for immunizations and planning for, you know, other things that may or may not happen. And how do we live and adjust and live a normal life when we may be in this world yet for a little while? And one of the things that I just encourage a lot of people to do is keep a good attitude. There is a lot of people that are getting down, they're getting depressed, they're tired, they're angry, they're frustrated with what's happening in our world, what's happening in our country, and we don't need any more negative people. I got plenty of those, man. I need bridge builders. I need positivity, because those are the people that make change. I don't need any more people picketing City Hall. I don't need people disparaging me online. What I need is people with ideas and who want to work together, right? And not just grandstand. And those are the people who make change and make impact. And so be one of those people, because, man, we need more of those right now. Let me answer a couple more questions. Then I got to turn my car back on because it's getting so hot in here. Let's see. Mike, what's Mike? Are you looking to save the municipal ban? Mike talked about that. Okay. When I'm done, hit rewind, watch it again. Elizabeth, we live in a luxury apartment. All right. Okay. Well, I'm sure there's a lot more questions. I will try and maybe answer a few more of these when I go offline, and maybe looking at those. Last one I see, because this one does come up, is Michael asks about ballpark on the east side of the river, crossing the Levitt span shell. Michael, I can tell you this, that the entertainment tax, of which would help fund something like this from the city, has been absolutely decimated by COVID. Entertainment tax is a third penny that gets put on restaurants, bars, hotels, ticket sales, and that's in the absolute tank. And it's going to take a long time for that fund to recover. So funding for those kind of fun projects like a baseball stadium is going to be very hard for the city to have dollars for that right now and in the foreseeable future. We're having to make hard decisions when it comes to our entertainment venues and our entertainment things just because of the landscape we're in. Secondarily, the physical footprint, I think, for having a baseball stadium downtown with the development that's happened, there's not really a great spot left for a baseball stadium downtown, and that's okay, because I think there's a lot of other good things that are popping up and happening downtown. So, With that, I think I'm gonna get out of here. So it's hot. I'll leave you with what I started with, and that is get out and support the zoo. It's where my daughter's working today. I think I got a great program. We have a fantastic zoo. Support businesses in your city. We have a campaign with the chamber and with the Development Foundation that says get out there. What we mean by that is this: get out there and be safe doing it. Okay, you can get out there and social distance. You can get out there and wear a mask and go into a restaurant. If their servers don't wear masks and that makes you feel uncomfortable, don't patronize them. Go to a different restaurant that does. I can tell you some that are religious about wearing their masks. Go there, support them. They're doing the right thing. So you are in control of your decisions. The government, the mayor, not going to tell you what to do, man. Okay? We want to put it in the hands of the people to get out there, support business, make the right decisions for you and your family's health. So thank you guys. Hope you have a blessed Sunday, my favorite day of the week, and great week ahead. So enjoy it, stay cool, and be safe, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.